Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm at home right now, and I decided to make a um, inspiration from within, or um, allow myself to speak. I think expression is very important because how do you know yourself unless you express yourself? And a lot of times, we're not really expressing ourselves. We're just mumbling off things that we've learned in this world. I came to figure out and understand that this is why you can't count anybody out. Everybody has a way they see life. Everyone in this world has a vision upon life within them. Now, out here in the world, a lot of things have already been given to us. A lot of things we grow into, environmental. But then within you, there is your way of seeing life. That's your divine spark. Now, when you were created originally, before you came into this plane, before you came into your mama's womb, you were in God, in the oneness, before you came into this place. And you already had a divine um, energy, gifts, talents that you already have in you. You know, some things you can learn, like you can learn how to DJ, you can learn how to be an engineer, you can learn how to sing if you want to. But within you, everybody has a divine code. You know, just like a color. The color red is the color red, and it has its own attributes, its own characteristics in its creation. The color orange has its attributes and things that it brings. The color yellow has its attributes, wavelengths, brightness, lightness. The color green has the same thing. The color blue, the color indigo, and the color purple. Those are just under God. So when God creates something, He already gives it its divine characteristics and attributes. Now, outside of the things that we grow into, like you got to go to school when you're little. Most that's just the way it goes. Um, you go to school, go to grammar school, go to high school. Those who wish to get further education go to college. Those are just things according to the environment we live in, according to the culture we live in. So those are things, yeah, you gotta take care of. You gotta have somewhere to eat, take care of yourself. But then also on the flip side, it's very important to know um, what makes you you. And this is the part that most people struggle with because a lot of times we're trying to find out what makes us us. You know, what is my orientation of life? Now, you can have somebody tell you what that is, and you can have somebody give you scripts to what that is. And even the religion or whatever you read about, it's not going to tell you about your individualized um, gift or your spirit that was originally born before there was a race. Before you came into a race, there was nothing. You were in the oneness, so you didn't have a culture. You didn't have a language. You didn't have a color. You just were. Now, that's the I am in the Bible, or that they refer to. I am that I am. You know what I'm saying? That's the oneness where it's nothing, but it's something. Now, how do we get to that place? I mean, to that quiet place, because that's the only thing that's going to make you feel good. That's the only thing that's going to make you feel whole. You know, for example, man, you can accommodate all the money in the world. You can have all the women if you're a guy, and the women can have as many men as they want. You can have yachts, but is that really going to bring you happiness if you don't know who you are? You know, if you don't know what is your gifts, what is your spirit, and what are you supposed to do on this planet, what is that going to actually do? You know, and it's difficult because really you got to wake up where you understand that longing that's in you to know who you are. Now, many people want to do it, but they lose faith and don't know how to do it, how to access the God within, you know. Because I'm gonna tell you, as I grow, I realize that you have to spend time with yourself, and you have to do sincere praying to God to open up doors for you to say, hey, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to get to, I mean, it's simple things like that because I've done it, And then I've gotten awakenings. I've heard voices because it's all an internal battle. It's not out here. You can't find it out here. But sometimes when you activate the within, God will give you a message outside here. You know, for example, I'll give you an example. When I went in 2011 do my student teaching, because I'm a teacher, I had to go to student teaching. So I was an aide up north. I was a one-on-one aide up north and a teacher assistant up north. And I decided to go back to school, and I went to school, and it came to the point where I do my student teaching, so I had to let my job go, and I had a part-time job. Now I went up north, and I was doing my student teaching, and the teacher that I considered to say my master teacher when I was in the class, she said I wasn't developing enough. So the program cut me off and said, hey, you got to do this all over again. You can't do it right away. You got to do it next year. Now, I only had a part-time job at the time, so I was struggling hard. And but I was very faithful, and I was very prayerful that I can do it. So I would pray all the time, and I started having problems. I could barely pay my rent. I could people just sense that they don't really want to be bothered with you, and they think that here you go again, the brother talking all his hardships and all this, and he don't want to do nothing, he don't want to work. So I really didn't talk to nobody about it. I just stayed on my grind. So one day I was substitute teaching at this it's like a school for special ed students. It was an IIT. I can't remember the name of it. And I lived on in Woodlawn, and not Woodlawn, but I lived on Woodlawn in Hyde Park, and I decided to walk there early in the morning because I wanted to talk and clear my mind. So I was walking, and I was by Holy Angel Schools on the south side of Chicago, and I heard this voice that said, everything's going to be all right. And when I heard the voice, it was so comforting to me that I initially just relaxed. I walked in the classroom, I did what I had to do, and I knew that I was going to make it. So what I did is I just quieted down. And that whole year I struggled. I had to move in with my sister because I couldn't pay my rent. I only had a part-time job, and I didn't want to get off track and get some other job and start on some other field. I kept trying to get teaching jobs and teaching this and this, and it just wouldn't work out. So I moved in with my sister, and it was hard because I don't like living with nobody else. I like to do my own thing. I had 2 cats. I brought my cats over, and my sister was nice enough to allow me to do it. Cool sister, sweet sister. She just held me down. So I went to my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife, and I just sat down and talked to her. I said, I'm going to be realistic. You see me struggling, right? Now, I know she's doing good. She had 2 jobs. She was racking it up, And I just sat down and told her, like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to be like, because I hear your stories. You always talk about brothers don't want to do it. If this is too much for you, because I'm struggling right now, just let me go. And I'll be good. I'll be by myself, and I'll just go through it. I won't be no mad. She said, no, I'm good. And at that point, I just struggled. And I came back around, got my student teaching with it. I got back into school like a year later. Interesting thing about that, I went to University of Phoenix, and I felt like my counselor that wasn't really trying to help me. I kept fighting him, saying, hey, let's find a school. And he kept saying, this school don't work. And it seemed like he wasn't trying to really help me too much. And I felt frustrated because I really, in my heart, wanted to do better. And I felt like, here it is, I'm trying to do better, and this individual is not really helping me, and that's the enemy. I'm not talking about this individual, but the enemy always puts roadblocks in your way for you not to be successful and give up. So I got so passionate about it. I told the guy, like, look, man, I can't wait another year, 2 years to do student teaching. I need to do it. And I kept pushing him to help me find it. He hung up on me. So I was kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen because it seemed like I'm getting all these roadblocks to do what's right. So what happened was me and my wife went to her friend's birthday party because I had to find my own student teaching. I had to find my own school that I was going to do student teaching at, and ended up running into somebody that was related to somebody at the party, and she got me into a school, and I can't remember where it was at, but she got me into a school, connected me with the school district, and she knew somebody at the school district and got me in the classroom. Now here go the God part. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's internal because I was so sincere. God worked it out for me. Okay, I got another student teaching opportunity with a master teacher. And I come into class the first day and we got to talking, and she was a little apprehensive, I can tell. Come to find out that my old boss was her best friend from kindergarten, and they still talk. And when my old boss talked to my new master teacher about me, and she told her all these good, oh, he's a good worker, he's a kind dude, he comes on time. The next day I came in to do, to teach, and she said, you know what? I know my best friend told me about you. You ain't gonna have no problem with this. And she pushed me through. It was just so easy. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Now the first time I did it, the lady who was my math teacher didn't want me to succeed. I'm not saying this, and I can tell. She wasn't trying to help me, and she was trying to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? She was just on some other stuff, and I know that. I know I was doing things wrong, but it just shows you the process of growth. That the way I got through it was through God, not complaining, not talking about anybody, not being. And the way I got through it through God is I got quiet and I constantly prayed. I constantly practiced principles. I constantly practiced harmony. I practiced love. I didn't talk to anybody about it. When people said negative things about me, I didn't even respond to it because I know that I needed to get my student teaching done so I can teach, because I know that I'm about something. See, a lot of times in life, you have a lot of negative forces around you. People succumb to them. You see people like outside, homeless or on the corner just not doing nothing. You think they just want to do that. But I seen in my troubled time that I have forces that I know didn't want me to get through. That lady doing my student teaching on the north side was actually against me. She never tried to help me, and she always wrote things, and she got me out of there. Now, me not being unconscious, I could have fought that and said, no, you're going to get me. I'm a student teacher. But I didn't know, But I know one thing, the experience taught me that God's going to make a way for you. You just don't give up. Don't give up. And the invisible, even the voice telling me everything was going to be all right. Now, when I heard that voice, it was so comforting to me that I knew without a doubt, Now, listen to this killer part. In the same process of me doing that, my car's transmission went out. Just went out. It cost $1,000 and like $500 to get that car transmission fixed. I had a Jeep Commander that had a Mercedes Trans in it. And luckily enough, I had a little money and I got it fixed. And then when I was doing student teaching, it went out again. When I was doing the student teaching second time. And I can only drive 30 miles an hour to school every day. So I would drive very slow to school every day. Nobody knew. And the killing part was this. Check this out too. This is to show you how God brings you through it. Now, I'm driving to school every day 30 miles an hour, but I really didn't have that much money because I was still working part-time. And on the last day, the day before I was finished my program, my car was taken from me because I couldn't pay for it. These people came out in the back of my head. I had my car cocked to the side by a garage where you couldn't get into it. They came back there and just got my car, the dealership, because I couldn't pay. But the thing about it is that I got all the way through my program, and even though they took my car, I just took the bus the last day to work, because I was imposing. That was Robin imposing. I was imposing, school imposing. So when I got that, um, and even through all that, I had to file bankruptcy. Uh, I got me a Kia Sorento, which I still got. My credit turned around. I got like 740 through credit. I don't have no problem with no job. I got a good job up in the Oakland, special ed teacher. And I seen how things turned around, But the thing about it was I kept having faith. I kept practicing harmony and love. I didn't get angry with anybody. Even when people, and I always practiced peace. Even when I didn't have that much money, I still was giving people money the best I could. I still was doing everything that I could. And it taught me something. That's why I say the battle is within yourself. You're going to have enemies out here to try to harm you and hurt you. Things that's going to try to throw you off. But when you practice the law of life, when you study synchronicity, how things are drawn to you, when you practice gratitude, these things you can practice, even if you're not the most grateful person. When somebody gives you something, even in your heart you don't believe it, start saying thank you. Because the more you be grateful for what you got, the more you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? So, therefore, I'm saying you have to practice law and know the laws. Like I practice harmony all the time. Even if somebody is the worst of the worst person in the world, I always try to build harmony with them and love and find something that we have in common to build a bridge with. I'm not going to be negative because harmony creates peace within me. That's why, regardless, when I was going through the worst of the worst, nobody really even knew. Because to me, it was just a lesson. It was getting me better and greater because a lot of it was things I needed to work on. A lot of things that I needed to get better with. So I'm just going to just say, it's everybody has a journey and struggle. But I would tell you to do it quietly, do it with love. And no matter how much it seems that you're not going to make it, just keep going forward. But the key is be quiet. Practice, read, meditate, study. Don't tell everybody your business. Don't have a pity party with your cousin, your friends. Don't tell people with every little thing that you're doing. Find out what you need to do and do it and do it and do it, because otherwise you'll be like the people on the corners, or you'll just keep switching up jobs and doing things that you're not supposed to do. I was supposed to teach. I wasn't supposed to do something else. I'm supposed to teach right now. I'm not supposed to do that until I'm liberated from that. So when you get off track and you get nervous about not following something, when you don't finish your task, you're going to always be off. You got to finish what you need to finish when you need to finish it. That's law too. You know what I'm saying? You got to follow sequence. You got to follow things as they are, not what you think. If you're married and you're having a hard time and God hasn't taken y'all apart from each other, stick with it. Stick with it. Now, if God say, hey, I don't want y'all together no more, and y'all both feel it, then go. Anything that you're doing, you take it to the end. You don't just give up no matter how it looks, because there's going to be sunshine on the other side if you don't give up. So whatever you're doing, give it your best, not halfway. Don't do it halfway. Do all the way. Do all that you know to do. And then let the cosmic reality or God do it, because we don't control anything. We don't control anything in this world. We only can control our practicing principles, living life, and acting upon that's all we can do. Now, what's going to happen out of that, you don't know. You don't know if you walk down the street, become a millionaire. You don't know if you're going to lose all your money sometimes. You just don't know. But what you do know is that you can have pure intent. You can be real. You can say the truth. You can stand for the honest things. And when you don't do those things, you can always come back and say, hey, that's something I need to work on. I could have did better than that, because all in all, it's just an experience. It's not nothing to hurt yourself from or punish yourself for not always doing right. You just say, hey, that's an experience that I can grow and learn from. But when you actually learn from those experiences, then you know that you don't even need to experience that no more. If you've been having a lot of bad relationships and attracting a lot of bad people to you, when you actually learn from that situation, you can look at it and say, I ain't attracting that no more. I know what type of man I need. I know what type of woman I need for whoever. You know, if you're a woman, you know what type of man you need. And a man know what type of woman they need. So after a while, you know what you need and you know what you got to offer and you know what you're going to bring to the table. But that's from learning. Now, if you don't never learn it, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, but you got to get quiet. You got to stop complaining and you got to practice God. Don't just go on church, on a mosque or Buddhist temple and read all these different things. You need to find out what you need to do and practice those things when you're angry. Practice those things when you're going through hardships. Practice those tools that you get. I want to say God bless. Thank all for listening and have a great day.